Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. We have just got through a rather nasty fight and ambush in the charred barrel. Are we in a charred barrel? I think we're in a charred barrel. Ah. That's good to know. And the bright hole restoration is complete, which is nice. So the Bailey was completed as well. So what we're going to do, I probably want to get started on the walls, because they're going to costly and take a long time. So, West Curtain Wall provides Bailey, the West Curtain Wall provides the Bailey protection from the forest, the forces coming from the west. Let's go from the south, let's do that one, get that up. Right, and it's going to be expensive. Right, we just survived an attack. Here, return to court. The meeting at Chancellor Warren. The meeting with Chancellor Warren was a trap led by Lord Gathbin. He sent a group of militants led by Captain Emery to assassinate me. Obviously, that was not going to happen. Right. So we need to return. The false meeting with Chancellor Warren and the attack by Captain Emery were both distractions to keep me away from Cadnoir for a time. I need to return, but to find out what's been going on in my absence. Right, so we know what that's going to be happening then.
Just say the word.
Does anybody want to talk to Fistwin, Nobles?
I'm on it.
There's stuff upstairs. Hanaf, Oracus, and Abelheart. Let's go talk to this Abelheart character.
Just say the word.
Greetings.
Abelheart Surin, the man dressed in his neat but functional clothes, his wrinkled skin, and limber musculature reflects a life spent in the wilderness. Well met. What brings you to the charred barrel? Is this your place? You inquire. It's my retirement. He thumps the bar. Used to be a warehouse back when Brackenberry saw more sit traffic, but it fell out of use when the area became mostly residential. I inherited it from some great uncle who'd never had any luck pawning it off on my cousins. Now it's the most popular spot in Brackenberry. The nobles come to unwind, and the kith from other districts come to mingle. He leans closer. We've got a few rough types too, but they behave in here. Sides, their coin is as good as anyone else's. Who are you? I was a cartographer for the Duke for decades. He rubs his neatly stubbled cheeks, crossed the White March half a dozen times, and mapped most of the ruins of Fearn Bog. He grins, flossing a golden tooth. A good career, but one suited to younger men. When I came back to the Defiance Bay for good, Clavier and a few of his friends and the knights helped me get the right to refurbish this place. There's strong ale, quality entertainment, and a fresh sea breeze. He raises a mug. What more could a man want? Somewhat you have in your menu. Damn, that's expensive. Dragon meat? Well, tough, gamey, and notoriously hard to cook, dragon meat makes for a rich, fatty meal that's said to transfer the beast's strength and power to those that consume it. Right. They got camping supplies at least. And very expensive bedrooms. Right.
Yeah.
What have we got here? Victor. These are probably going to be soul fragments. Yeah. Hanaf, Oracus. As you near you, the vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul, the voices from the past seem to call to you. You see a woman clad in expensive finery. Her eyes flash as she interrogates a trembling wreck on the ground. Reaching into his pocket, her hands curl around an address, and she smiles grimly. Moments later, she is in a bedraggled alleyway, her pace quickening, her braids trailing around the corners. She's upon them, or perhaps they are upon her. The action does not last, as she easily dispenses of the man after man, searching their faces, clothes, slouch from something she fails to find. Frustrated, she moves on, but not quickly enough, for as an Orlan attacks from behind. A seal upon his fingers glitter with malice. Her eyes alight upon it as she twists to evade its blow, and her eyes burn bright. Perhaps this was not a wasted trip after all. Interesting.
Just say the word.
And who is this bloke? Because I heard him talking as we came in. First on, the young elf is dressed in the gaudy robes that seem he seems ready to cast off. He picks at heavy braided sleeve and continually adjusts the gold chain around his neck. He looks up at you. Did she send you to run me out of town? Can you tell her I am not going anywhere without that medallion? I told Sorrel that I wouldn't let her sell it. I'm not backing down, even if for a thug like you. He puffs out his chest but glances at the exit. What are you talking about? I'm not after you, but maybe I can help. Just tell me what the problem is. Lucky for you, today's my day off. I just here to drink. If I were you, I would already be. If I were you, or if I were after you, you'd be already oozing puddle on under the table. Let's go with that one. Thurston cringes. I mean no offence. It's just been on edge ever since our falling out. He pulls one of his sunny buttons. Sorrel's a courtesan over at the salty mast and Audra's grift. We've been working together for over a year now. I find a noble with more money than sense, fill him up with liquor and send him her way. They have a good time and Sorrel takes her fee and a little extra. He rubs his fingers together. And 100 coppers here, a trinket there. It's a bounty for us, and these lords and ladies never notice anything. Go on, that's dishonest, no harm done then. You better not try anything with me. Let's go with that. Relax, we're just talking. Besides, I'd like to get out of that business. Anyway, we always split the bounty until a week ago. He squeezes his lips into a tight frown. He takes a necklace off some noble. It's an Egwaffen medallion, damn near priceless. That relic is sacred to my clan, but she won't part with it for any sum I could afford. He tugs at the gold chain around his neck, and even if I wanted to, I can't go home without it. Sagany brow furrows in pity. That's a hard thing. I'll see you go out getting the medallion from Cyril. Tell me about your situation. You're both a couple of cheats, and you're finally getting what you deserve. Good riddance. Tell me about your situation. You sigh tiredly as you accept a drink. He picked at the hem of his sleeve. What do you want to know? What makes the medallion so important to you? I grew up in Glenfath with the Sattering Spear clan. We Glenfathans have protected Egwiffen ruins for thousands of years. It's one duty the gods asked for us in exchange for freedom to live as we please. He fidgets with an emerald ring on his pinky. But treasure hunters looted the ruins in our territory, and we left the wilds. We'll dwindle. When we left the wild, we'd dwindle for generations. Most of my clan mates scattered into towns around Deerwood and probably live on crusts of bread. He looks at his embroidered robe with disgust. Restoring this medallion to the ruins would earn us the gods' forgiveness. The Sattering Spears could go home. This is all rather fascinating, a single medallion to earn the gods' favour and so return home. It rather reminds me of a story I heard somewhere. Tell me about Cyril. She's a courtesan at Salty Mast over Audra's gift. She wasn't born to much, but she's done what she has in order to escape that. She gazes at the string of emerald beads around his wrist. She's a good friend. He folds his arms in a trailing, wrinkled sleeves. Without her, I'd probably be living hard, hand to mouth like the rest of the set of spears. But this isn't about her or me. It's about the 40 people in my clan, the way of life we held to for generations. I still don't understand why you don't take your money in return. Okay, he can't return because he needs the medallion. You seem like you've done well enough for yourself. He clenches his heavily adorned hand. It was this or scrape by in the gutters like the rest of my clan, but I'd give it all for that medallion. I offered to, but it's worth more than anything I've got, and Sarah knows it. I still don't understand what, he can't return home. This is a silly question. He can't return home because basically the medallion is important and they need the medallion to go home. Right, that's what I want to ask. I'll see if I can get this medallion from Cyril. You'll find out the study master. The only way anyone sees her these days is by paying, so they'll have to go for Maya. He fidgets with his sleeves, but whatever you do, please don't hurt her. Yeah, that may not.
Just say the word.
May not be possible. When you hire me, take out the beating stick and just go to town. Slowly, you failed in your payment. Beating stick. You looked at me funny. Beating stick. Right. So let's get back to the inn. We've got to go to Copper Lane. We've got to rest.
Just say the word.
That reminds me, I should probably enchant some people's stuff in all honesty. I've got a lot of stuff that needs... Oh, we can bind a soul? What's that? Are you sure you want to soul bind Gilda Hoestinis to Alof? Once bound, the item cannot be equipped by any other character. Dang! That's impressive. During staff, enchant. He's got... We could get it more accurate. I must be running low on resources. Actually, we could slay. But why couldn't we do it with his thing then? Ah. I'll just bear a spell. That's why. Right. And we can't get the good quality on anything here for the sealed. We could get Kith slaying. That would be... Actually, that would probably be useful for him. Actually against humans. Let me just check something. I want to compare... That has fire damage, but I'm pretty sure... 25 slash and deflection. Fine battle axe, yeah. Enchant that. We can't get Kith then because he needs. Okay, so he needs +2.
Just say the word.
I mean, we could go to the market quickly. Grab some stuff. I need to enchant some of their gear to make it better, to be honest. Call for interested patrons. The MF's Den Expedition Hall pledges competition to prove men and women towards profitable ventures of your choosing. Right, okay, so...
Just say the word.
No, this is the person we need to talk to.
Hello.
Yeah, some of your wares. Right, there we go. We need... I just need... I'll take 2, because they're really expensive. Okay. And we're going to enchant her crossbow. Probably Kith, because we're fighting a lot of human opponents at the moment. So ooh, that's expensive. Hadn't realised how expensive. Beast, primordial, spiritual. I mean, I could do spiritual, like damage against spirits. That might actually be useful. And then him and his mace. Yeah, I'll do it with... I'm going to do it for there, enchant his for Kith. Right. And we're not low on cash, but
Just say
we
the
could
word.
be better. We're going to quickly rest for a night, and then we'll head back to base camp and deal with this and the outstanding job there, and then probably explore the rest of the Underdark, or of the tombs we left out. Well, not the Underdark, but the maze. Side quests that we have and get those out of the way, and then we'll push on with the main story.
Yeah.
Hail and well met.
Basic room. I also need to talk to my companions. I need to talk to some of these guys. I haven't talked to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right. We'll beat the ground heavily and hit the road and go back to Cadnoer, finish that main quest mission off. And then we'll do some of the side quests and then do the main story mission for a bit. The reason I do this, guys, is literally because you don't get XP besides doing the missions in this game, so I need to level up. You need to do the side quests, really. Return to court.
Keeps coming along nicely.
Speak to the mob in front of your great hall.
Yeah.
Nah, this is going to be fun. There's a mob. Really? Farmer, I wouldn't pay, so they set my crops on fire. When my boys tried to stop him, he knocked him on the head, he's alive, but he can't think straight no more. Merchant, your boy got lucky, my guards, good men both got put to the sword after they surrendered. I paid those thugs what they wanted, but he still took everything I had. There she is, Wim points to you, all eyes in the crowd turn. The hostler goes, what's going on here? You demand. We want justice, you've been terrorizing us, we won't stand for it any longer. Choose your next words carefully, you reply sharply. The group eyes you warily. After a few moments, one man in the group elbows another. The second man takes a deep breath and straightens his stance for speaking. You sent your men to my farm to collect a crop tax, saying we were overdue. For me, it was a road toll. I've been travelling up and down this way for years, but it's the first I've heard of such a thing. Other people in the crowd chime in similar stories. What makes you think I sent these men? If this happens again, it's not on my orders. You've heard it directly from me. What makes you think I sent these men? They said they were acting on the orders from the Lady of Cadnoer. That's you. If this happens again, it's not on my orders. You heard it directly from me. Say we believe you. What about what we lost? What about my crops? And my goods? And my family to the guards? I'll make those men face justice, you can count on it. We appreciate it, we can appreciate that, but can you offer us any form of compensation, just a little to help us get by? Of course, he clears his throat and looks at you expectantly. Here, for all of you, you hand over 500 gold. Thank you kindly, milady. Your coins quickly distribute amongst the villagers. The villagers bow to you, then disperse. An angry mob. Master Foreign, an angry mob, the inevitable thorn every ruler's side. Gwen Ravenheart, what brings you to Cadnoer? They're good people, can't blame them for acting that way. I was merciful this time. No doubt that before long these peasants shall fear the name of Gwen Ravenheart. For now, the peasants will have to wait. I have news that Lord Gathbin let's discuss in the great hall away from curious ears. Who are you? Brutus warrior. Something you want? Oh, we hide him, that's what. He's patrolling. Rational, honest, yeah, we haven't had anything change. I don't want diplomatic and I don't want benevolent. I could have hanged them, but they're supposed to be under my charge. I suppose I am too merciful at times, I should just these days. Right.
Just say the word.
Let's get in here and talk to this bloke, talk to the master and see what the earth is going on.
Just say the word.
Lady Gwen Ravenheart, party gains experience. I received word that Lord Cathbin is amassing an army of mercenaries near Yenwood Field. It appears that the peaceful claim to Cadnoer is no longer possible. The Earl has sent me to aid you in forming your own force to counter this threat. I am here to advise in advisory role only, of course. The Earl won't of his city take sides in this dispute. Let's talk about my army. Why? I take it. Why won't the Earl officially legitimise my claim? It's a delicate situation. Legally, Lord Gathbin's claim is just, and he knows it. Stripping land and title from a noble family is quite dangerous, perhaps more so than killing the man outright. With Gathbin dead, the Earl only the Earl's sorry. With Gathbin dead, the Earl only need worry about blood vengeance from family members that actually cared for Lord Gathbin. Those, if court gossip is to believe, are few and far between. Losing a family claim to a land and title, though such disputes incite hatred from the entire clan and their political allies, not to mention the unease it causes amongst the other nobles. War start for less. No, if Gathbin is denied, it will be you who must prove your legitimacy to the Earl and all others who dispute your claim. This is what it means to be a noble in the dear wood. If there is anything else I wish to know, please ask. How much time do I have? Enough. It's rumoured Lord Gathbin will suffer a series of unfortunate and completely unforeseen setbacks before his army is complete. He grins and winks. Still, I'd not tarry long. I have a fortress with strong walls. Why not let Gathbin come to me? Lord Gathbin isn't a fool enough to risk tearing down Cad Noir just to kill you, and if you suit yourself behind the walls, he'd have free reign to torment your subjects in the countryside. Right, that's what, let's talk about my army. The Master nods. Where am I getting my troops? I've sent out calls from volunteers from the lands around Cad Noir. Hopefully people realise that being under your rule is preferable to that of the Lord Gathbin's. Any hirelings stationed at Cad Noir will also accompany you to the battle, so I suggest you acquire as many as possible. What is the status of my regular troops? The Master shakes his head. 2 green and 2 few. If you go up against the Lord Gathbin now, loss will be heavy. However, victory is still possible. We need to recruit veteran troops. I know a company or 2 of veterans that would be willing to join us for the bit of coin. I'd say 10,000 copper should cover the expenses. I don't have that much at the moment. I don't have that. Right, okay. What special allies do I have available? He shakes his head. No one has offered to help you, I'm afraid. It may be possible to find an ally in Defiance Bay amongst the Knights of the Crucible, a dozen, or if you are truly desperate, House de Manel. I also heard rumours of force of Red Syrians currently in the White Marts. If you find your way that far north, perhaps sway some of them to join your cause. That's all for now. Quest completed. Return to courts. Tax collectors, all earnings were lost to bandits. Man, this sucks. Right. The Battle of New Yield Field. Help the Master raise an army. Return to court. Lord Master's going to be up for taking up Cadmo for me. Blah, blah, blah. Right, here we go. Lord Gathbin is assembling an army of mercenaries in an attempt to wrestle control of Cad Noir by force. I need to raise my own army to stop him. Help Master Forwin raise an army of Cad Noir. To fight Lord Gathbin's force, I need an army of my own. Assist me in logistics of all of it, conditioning things at the Great Hall in Cad Noir. He'll wait until I command my army to march to Nyenwood Field. Well, we don't have the money for it, that's for a start.
Just say the word.
Not a single penny. Because I spent a lot of it, which just sucks. I need to go down into the dungeon as well. Right, let's go. Just want to clear out the third. I just want to clear out the floor. Once that's done, we should be able to press on with the main story. I haven't got enough money to raise an army yet. I'd probably want to take the veteran force, which means I'd need to have 1,000 gold, which is a lot of money. With 10,000 gold, sorry. Right. Cad Noir, 3rd level. Yeah, 3rd level it is. I also want to go out watching that pit that the basically things that were kobolds were looking at.
Just say the word.
We'll clear this area out first. Oh, did I miss treasure in here? Okay. Right,
Just
okay.
say the word.
I know there's other trolls down here, so... Yeah, here we go. Everyone attack it. Ouch, that hurts. Fall back. Pop that ability. Knock this guy on his ass. And everybody continue to shoot it. Actually, wait, not you. Alright, we killed it. More blood.
Yeah.
Was that it? Oh, there was stuff over there as well we didn't investigate. Or did we? And that was the stairs we came down.
Nice and quiet.
In case there's any traps. Virgo, don't skulk, come out into the light. Okay,
Just say the word.
who is this Virgo? Cast in orange hues by the guttering of torches, a massive creature sits at the rear of this wide chamber. There is an acid stench of blood and offal about the room, and a hot, malodorous gust wafts towards you as the orc rises, stirring up the dust beneath its feet. If they have only known how many unwitting fools would wander into my camp, I would not have been exiled. Despite his words, the ogre studies you despondently. His pale, grim features are streaked with dried blood. But then I think they have lost the taste for the godlike. Now that they have feasted on one another for so long, the ogre turns away. I will not be fattened for the eating. Eaten? Eating? Eaten by who? I tell you, more big-boned than fat. You are no illusion of mine. I thought perhaps I was imagining that a good meal had come striding out of the darkness. He shakes his head. You should not have come, godlike. I am Fulgur, once most trusted Azul's warriors, once the ogre shrugs his shoulder. It matters not. But go but a little way south and you'll find what becomes of us. Once a dozen strong, we are now nothing. Our great chief enraged by voices, and our people driven to devouring one another. And I, a coward, wait here to die alone. Easier said than done, he gestures to a heap of bones and cloth. Hunger has a will of its own. Matron Zola knows that well. Give her Zolk's talk. Zola is dead. I slew her in Aurora before I came here. Foe takes it in deep breath silently for 7 moments. Then I stood. Thank you, godlike. You have done more than I could. You have lost the item Zola's talk. It's not gratitude I feel, but take this all the same. I would not need it where I go. Take care in this place, godlike. It is men made more than my people. You have the item Rundil's finery added to inventory. Party gains 3,240 experience. I remember Zola as she was before. Perhaps I'll see her again in another life. So something drove them insane. What the walls hold, the well holds added. What the well holds added. Your quest expires in 2 days. 25 experience. Swaddling sheets. what the well holds. Sorry. A few miles north of Kinneardvale sits a tiny village called Whitereach, so small that it's often missed on maps and tax records. The village has little contact with the rest of the Deerwood. Perhaps its tiny size, the village has a long history, dating back to the use as a Glenfathom tribal camp over 3 centuries ago. One of the most prominent features of this community is a deep well, atop of which is made from Engwathan Adra. Though not any of religious significance to the Glenfathoms, all who see it agree that the well is truly ancient. In recent years, locals have reported strange sounds from within the well. Some describe it as animal sounds, others as odd speaking in a foreign tongue. No one dared venture down the well, but villagers are becoming nervous about drawing water from it. Though the community has modest resources at disposal, they have reached out to the nearby lords for assistance. Okay, we're going to assign her to it. Rose is assigned. Right, so what did we get out of that? Rondell's Funerary, unique level armor, unique light armor. That's intelligence and lore, actually. Though wealthy and well-educated, one of Valen's nobles found himself all but shunned by his peers. He lacked an eye for fashionable dress, and had no particular talent for debate. Finding that he could not articulate any portion of his admitted vast pool of knowledge, while his colleagues held great debates for the intricacies of animancy or the state of the Valan republics, he stood apart. At last, desperate noble turned to a local wizard and requested a set of clothes which might elevate him around the crowd and give him an opportunity to prove his wits. The result was marvellous, perfectly fitted and accentuated his features in such a way that he was immediately the centre of attention. Nobles soon found, however, that this plan worked too well, for it was the wizard Rundle whose name became associated with the fine clothes, and who found his work much in demand in the coming seasons. Right, so that will boost his intelligence. Intelligence and law giving. Yeah, law, intelligence. So it probably wants to go on our wizard, to be honest. Really does his damage reduction in, though. But that intelligence and law is nice. Can we enhance it in any way? Proofing. Corroding crushing. We can make it crush damage reduction from crushing blows. Something is better than nothing. Right, damage reduction from crushing. But he's still squidgy as anything. It's not great. I mean, I like that a lot. More constitution is always nice, but I'm gonna have to give him speed. It means he's slower by a lot, but he needs to have better damage reduction at this stage. Right. What else? Everything's fine. Yep. Okay. That's done.
Just say the word.
Another memorial. Let's just check to make sure it's not trapped. Fine quarterstaff. Deceptively simple quarterstaffs can be powerful weapons in the hands of skilled combatants. Maximum amount of supplies. Okay, that sucks.
Just say the word.
Right, so that's that.
I'm on it.
Don't think there was anything else besides the stairs up. We can go up because I want to go and check out the. I want to go and check out the pit. I know it's probably an insane thing to do, but I fancy going down the pit. Which is probably going to be madness, because there's probably going to be a monster living in the bottom of it. But that's probably what we could do next episode. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to read enough of my books to you. Adrian Customs. Didn't I read that one already? Feast of Feasts, Sweet Treats. Yeah, we've read this one already. St. Warden's farmer becomes a god. Here we go. In the mention of the name Icewind, most folks think only one word, Godhammer. Whilst this event echoes throughout the ages and still felt years after destruction of Ovendwer Bridge, Iceewind's humble beginnings belie the powerful force he would grow into. Icewind lived an ensuing life in a remote area of Redsaras. A son of Volus farmers, he toiled the fields along with his father for 22 years until his father's death. The farm then fell to him to run. He considered selling, but had no other skills upon which to draw. So he set on the path of Volus farmer as well. Nothing of note had been recorded in Iceewind's life until 4 years after his father's death. One day, while working the fields, Iceewind's life was irrevocably changed. In his words, night was falling, the fingers of dusk already gripping the sky, the sun had dipped behind the world's edge, and stars were peeking from beyond the shroud. The day was still, and the darkness was blanketed the field. I placed my last harvest of the day into the collection pile, while from behind me arose a brilliant light. I turned, fear in my breast, knowing not what would have caused such intense radiance. Behind me stood a blazing figure, resplendent in glory. Its white flesh glowed with illuminant radiance, its head a blinding ball of light, brighter than the highest sun of mid-year. I averted my gaze, afraid I would be struck down from daring to gaze upon such a creature. A sudden peace washed over me, sweeping away my fears, leaving me my trembling so tranquil. A loving warmth wrapped its arms around me. A voice spoke to me as I stood transfixed, trying both to see their glorious being and avoiding its dazzling scrutiny. Fear not, it said to me, for you are chosen above all others. You will be the delight to bring about the rebirth of an empire. It then held out its hand and bestowed upon me a vision of power such that I could scarcely contain it. Icewind, disheveled and dirty, stumbled into his village the next morning, telling all who would listen about the miracle that had happened in the fields. Eothas himself, he claimed, had appeared to him. He was to punish the Adrian governor for leading his people to ruin. A way would be provided, and those faithful who helped would be blessed with the divine manifested. The villagers ignored him, convinced that the loss of his parents had broken his mind. But Icewind continued to preach of the powers of Eothas and the corruption of the governor, eventually earning him the ear of the locals. His confrontations with the villagers hit a turning point one day in mid-autumn. A crowd had gathered around Icewind, jeering at him and telling him to leave the village. The Vola crop that system was particularly light, and the villagers blamed Icewind, saying that he had angered the gods, particularly Eothas, with his blasphemy. They backed him into one of the winter withered fields, yelling at him to go. Accounts of the inciting actions are hazy. Some say a stone was thrown, others say he was pushed, others still say he simply tripped over a dry root sticking from the ground. Regardless of the cause, Icewind landed face down on the ground, the villagers standing over him laughing. Enough! A voice, not Iceewind's, boomed across the field. Icewind looked up at the crowd, his eyes glowing with a blinding white light. He stood, but did not stand. One moment he was on the ground, the next he was standing before the crowd, who cowered before him. You dare deny me, the voice spoke through Iceewind's mouth. You dare refuse my servant. Iceewind's arms rose, beginning to luminescent. You dare require proof. His arms went out to his sides. Never ask again, lest you be burned in my light of the new dawn. There was a flash of light from Iceewind's eyes and hands, and the entire field sprang to life. The once dried and brittled plants became full, lush, and verdant. The crowd was silent. From somewhere in the back came a call of praise Eothas, and then they all fell to knees in front of Icewind. Farmer turned god. Oh boy. Yeah, I can see why that would cause problems. Yeah, whoa. Pretty intense stuff. But so next episode we will dive down into the hole, and hopefully we're not going to die in the process. I've been Cornish-Knight. This has been Pillars of Eternity. If you have liked, please press the subscription button. It helps me a lot, especially in the current climate. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. If you have liked, press the like button. I shall see you all next time on the next episode of Pillars of Eternity with Gwen Ravenheart and Space Pig as we dive deeper into the depths. Goodbye.